Good day, students. Welcome to the first video lecture for the subject Introduction to Cybercrime and Environmental Laws and Protection. So in this video, we are going to discuss the brief history of cybercrime, the nature of cybercrime, the different types of cybercriminals, and the different ways to protect yourselves or ourselves from cyber attacks. But before that, let me first show you some pictures or illustrations. So the first picture is the US rifle caliber 5.56 M16A1, or also known to us as the M16 rifle, while the second picture is a computer device. So both were created with a different purpose from each other. So the M16 is for firing deadly bullets or projectiles that can maim or kill the unfortunate target immediately on the spot. While a computer device was first created as a means to further improve technology and connect people through the internet. However, as time passes by, many years later, no one could imagine that the computer device, with the aid of the internet, would become one of the worst crimes or one of the worst mediums of crimes that can be committed in the present era. So as technology advances and as the society treat a computer device and the internet as a part of our daily routine, so the criminals will just find a way or find new ways to improve the commission of cyber crimes. And with that, more and more people becomes vulnerable and becomes a victim of cybercrime. So now, let us discuss the difference between traditional crimes and cybercrimes. As an example of traditional crimes, we have libel, we have scam or fraud, we have smuggling, and then we have identity theft. And we also have terrorism, which is not included in um, the list. We also have drug trafficking, and of course, human trafficking. So obviously, the difference between the use of between cybercrime and traditional crimes is the use of a computer device or electronic computer device and the internet. Now, what makes it different? So, cybercrime is a richer and wider versions of these traditional crimes, as it reaches, affects, and more likely to victimize more people as compared to traditional crimes. So, here is an example of the effect and extent of cybercrimes. If you can still recall, in the year 2000, many people, especially in the Philippines, as this crime originated here in our country, and the most part of Asia and part of the West, as well as the United States and other European countries. Um, However, this attack or this virus damaged primarily Asia and the Philippines. So if you can still recall, the I love you virus, so in the year 2000, a spam or an email was received by millions of people uh, in their computer. So instead of being happy because the spam or the email contains love letter for you .txt.bbs, some people got confused as the moment they open the email and open the attachment of the email, the virus started copying itself to several folders in the hard drive, as well as the virus also replaced important data and important files inside the hard drive. Meaning to say, if you save, for example, your thesis inside your hard drive, it will be replaced by the I love you virus. And what will happen to the files that was replaced? It will be deleted. uh, and then all the previous contacts, or all the previous emails, or all the previous contacts that was um contacted by the owner of the hard drive that was infected by the virus, also had been automatically sent, or by the virus. So the owner of the hard drive who had been infected by the virus have no idea that the virus automatically sent itself to those people who he had previous contact with. So in 2 days, the virus infected 45 million computers, and in 5 days, 50 million. So, and it cost 5.5 billion to 8.7 billion dollars to repair the damaged hard drive, and another 15 billion dollars to completely eradicate the traces of the virus in the internet. So when did cybercrime began? So actually, the internet was created in the year 1950 for military purposes, as it aims to detect incoming missiles or unwanted objects in the atmosphere of the United States of America. However, in order to do that, the military needs computers that was connected in each other due to the vast land that the technology aims to protect. So with that, they created the internet. However, in the early 1970s, or in the 1970s, the internet was first uh, given to the public, or has been disclosed to the public for public use. And in the 1970s, also in the early 1970s, was the start of the first wave of cybercrimes. So what they did was they impersonated operators. They dug through Bell Telephone Company garbage to find secret information, and performed countless experiments to early telephone hardware to learn how to exploit the system and steal long distance telephone time. So this innovative type of crime was a difficult issue for law enforcement since 1970s up to the present, due in part to lack of legislation to aid in criminal prosecution, and of course the shortage of investigators that is skilled in the technology that was being hacked. So it was clear that computer systems were open to criminal activity, and as more complex communications became available to the consumer, so more opportunities for cybercrime so develop. So cybercrimes becomes advanced as our technology becomes advanced. So it as our technology becomes advanced and complicated, so it also makes rather investigations and detection of cybercrimes more difficult and complicated. So what is cybercrime? So cybercrime, to make it short, cybercrimes are crimes that are committed with the use of the computer and the aid of internet. So it could be in the form of traditional crimes such as what we have mentioned earlier: libel, fraud, terrorism, counterfeiting. However, if those crimes are committed with the use of a computer and with the use of the internet, then it uh, then it is what it makes it as a cyber crime, and it makes it different from traditional crime. So what are the nature of cybercrime? So based on the data from Europol and EMCDDA, so the main categories of crimes perpetrated on the darknet in 2016 up to present includes Of course, first, the selling of drugs. So, actually, drugs is the largest criminal market on the deep web or in the dark net or in the dark side of our internet. So, this is how they sell illegal drugs in the internet. So, just like how you sell um, products in our favorite home shopping applications. However, with limited access to those who are either subscribers or who are people who have special access to the website or to the applications. Next, we have child sexual exploitation materials, or we have pornography videos or any sexual acts involving a child or a minor. Examples are this type of videos or screenshots that I took from the internet. Next, we have cyber tools and services. So examples are the inception or the creation of viruses or malicious softwares which aims to target many computer device, just like for example the I love you virus. We have the Trojan horse. However, cybercrime tools and services were relatively small as compared to drugs and child sexual exploitation material. However, uh, this type of crimes are now quickly accumulating in large numbers, which makes its numbers inflate up to the point that it becomes the top three most committed crimes in the cyberspace. Next, we have cyber terrorism rather. So cyber terrorisms are the goal of cyber terrorism, however, is just the same as the traditional terrorism. However, the difference between the two is that it is just committed in the internet, and it is also considered as a uh, transnational in scope or globally in scope, as it goes where the internet reaches, or as far as the internet reaches. So for example, we have hacking. So hacking is an example of cyber terrorism. So well, in fact, the Philippines is the fifth or the in the top five most attacked online world in the world in the survey in the year 2019. So we have suffered either a government attacks, attack personally, or attacks in our private companies or business or private businesses. We suffered 7 million online attacks in just the year 2019. Next, we have counterfeiting of goods. So example of counterfeit of goods or counterfeit goods that was or that can be found in the internet. For example, those are the fake products resembling the brand or the trademarks of the original product. However, this type of counterfeiting resembles only a small portion of counterfeiting of goods in the cyberspace. So, the most serious counterfeiting threat on the darknet is that the falsified or the falsification of documents, and the other is the falsification of banknotes or the falsification of bank accounts, or shall we say the stealing of bank uh, or the stealing of the data from the bank, and then the counterfeiting of fake bank accounts or fake ATMs in order to withdraw cash or to wire transfer money from the victim's account to the hacker's account. Next, we have the data theft. So, example of data theft including, of course, impersonation in Facebook, of course, that is rampant nowadays, or in any social media platform. However, the most serious data theft is the compromised data, including banking credentials and other personal informations in various forms, represents a serious threat, especially if uh, it aims to collect, or it collects your banking data, or it collects your for example, your credit card data, or your bank, or data in your bank account. What you can see on the screen is a fake PayPal website, which aims to uh, collect your as you can see in the screen, it aims to collect your banking data and your credit card data for the purpose of uh, replicating your data, or you're replicating your details or banking data using your details, using a fake card or fake documents, and then with that they can transfer your money to their accounts. And according to the survey, 16% of all Facebook accounts are fake or duplicates. Next, we have, of course, weapon smuggling. So, given the impact for serious bodily injury results from use of weapons, the market of weapons, just like the illegal transactions of drugs, is also rampant in the internet. So, these are the different types of cybercrimes, or the major crimes that are committed in the cyberspace. So now let us proceed to the types of cyber criminals. So first we have individual profit seeking, or individuals and more small criminal groups. So these are profit seeking. So the primary purpose of these individuals are to gain money. For example, they are going to hack, or they are going to obtain personal data or personal information, photographs, videos, or private details, or your website, for example, a personal website or personal blogging account, and then they will extort money from the victim in order for them to give it back, or in order for them to access their personal accounts again. And then we have insiders. Actually, insiders are have the same purpose to the first type of criminal we have mentioned earlier, but the difference between the two is that insider is, for example, a part of the organization or the company. He is an employer, right? Is an employee, or a top ranking official who stole, for example, blueprint of a company, or blueprint of the company's future projects, or the trademarks or formulations of, or the steps or the processes which the company are working on, and then sell it to the competition or the competing company for profit, or for the purpose of money. Next, we have organized criminal or organizations. So these are traditional organized crime groups which had their transitions from traditional crimes to cyber crimes, because well, of course, for the purpose of monetary gain, because cyber crimes are more convenient, and cybercrime are more profitable, and of course cybercrime is hard to detect and very hard to investigate. Next, we have the state and state affiliated agents. So these are hackers. However, these are, of course, affiliated, or these are hired by the government in order to, for example, to spy on someone, or to gather datas, or illegal datas, or illegally gather datas from someone who is deemed a threat against the government. Next, we have hacktivists. So the hacktivists typically select targets in response to perceived grievances or violations. So this includes groups or cooperating based on various events in ad hoc manner. So these hacktivists, for example, will create a Facebook account, for example, and then either they aims to that Facebook account aims to assassinate a character, for example, to spread fake news or fake rumors against a person in order uh, to discredit the person. Next, we have cyber terrorists. So, cyber terrorists are differentiated from other agents by their intention in acting. So, cyber terror activities are mainly concentrated in hacking, website defacement, and hijacking of social media accounts. However, cyber terrorism also includes propaganda and planning attacks as a major activities and threats of cyber terrorists. And we have, of course, the last are script kiddies. So these individuals, generally young individuals, typically use ready-made scripts or programs that are readily available in the internet, downloadable, that can be found on the internet to conduct cyber attacks such as web defacements. So what is the impact of cybercrime or the cost of cybercrime? So these are the costs, as you can see on the screen or on your screen. The survey selected 15 industry or sectors that is more who have the most damage of cybercrimes. And we have the financial services, which is damaged 18.28 US million dollars estimated yearly. And then we have utilities and energy and so on. So how do we prevent cyber crimes, or how do we prevent from being a victim of cyber crimes? So first, of course, keep the computer system up to date, as criminals will use software flaws to attack computer systems frequently and anonymously. So most Windows-based systems can be configured to download software patches and updates automatically. So by doing this, they will monitor all online activity with the intent to protect the system from viruses and other malicious programs. So next, keep your firewall uh, turned on. So a firewall helps to protect your computer from hackers who might try to gain access to crash it, delete information, or of course steal passwords and other sensitive information. So software firewalls are widely recommended for single computers. So next, we have protect your personal information. Of course, do not give personal information in a malicious or website, or an untrusted, for example, untrusted computer website, or untrusted website, or untrusted applications rather, because it might be a phishing account or a phishing website. Next, read the fine print on website privacy policy. So on many social networking and photo sharing sites, there are wording on the privacy policies that allow the website to keep information and photos posted to the site. So sometimes indefinitely, after even after the original has been deleted by the user. While this may not discourage one from posting images or messages, awareness that this can be later retrieved and disseminated may be a consideration as to what information or photos are posted. For example, before or after you download an application, before the developer gives you access to the said application, you have to sign first, or you have to approve first the website or the application privacy or the data privacy policies. So in order to avoid becoming a victim, so you have to read and understand the website policy privacies. Next, install or update your anti-software or antivirus software. So, antivirus software is designed to prevent malicious softwares, programs from embedding on your computer. So, if it detects malicious code like a virus or worm, it works to disarm, quarantine, or remove it from your system. So, because viruses can infect computers without the user's knowledge, and of course it will have a long-term effect on your hard drive if it remains undetected. Next, review financial statements regularly. So review your credit card and bank statements regularly, because you might be a victim of wire transfer or illegal wire transfer or illegal money transfer schemes from hackers. As for example, you forgot that you have encoded, or you have given your personal information as well as your banking details to a malicious website. That is why you have to review your financial statements for irregularities or suspected cybercrime attacks. Next, we have secure configurations of systems. So, it is important that computers are configured to the security level that is appropriate and comfortable for the users. Which means that you have to have, for example, a firewall, or you must have a system protection based on the level of your activity, or the level of your internet activity. So too much security can have adverse effect of frustrating the user and possibly preventing them from accessing certain web content, of course, because it will trim down the number of website that can be accessed by your internet. But however, at the same time, it protects the user from cyber attacks. Next, of course, if it seems too good to be true, then it is not true. No one is going to receive a large amount of money from a dead, for example, Nigerian politician, with a huge lottery from being randomly selected from a database of email addresses. If, for example, promises of a big amount of money, for example, uh, immediately, for example, nagdaog ka kuno sa loto, and then or ang imong email have been chosen in a lottery to nga nagdaog ikaw $1,000,000, and then wala ka man minatandaan karon nga nagtaya ikaw sa lottery, or wala man ikaw karon naka-access to any lottery related websites, then it is you are already have been a target of a possible cybercrime. Then choose a strong password and protect it. Choose a strong password and do not share your password to other people, and or keep your password within in yourself lang gid. Strong password should be at least, of course, as recommended by many websites or many online applications, should be at least 8 characters in length with a mixture of letters and numbers. So, as they recommend, you should have an uppercase or and a lowercase, of course. You have to use symbols, for example, asterisk, dash, comma, period, any combination of capital letters and small letters for it to be difficult to be hacked or to be remembered by other people other than yourself. And then, of course, if there is a suspected attack, then turn off your computer. So with the growth of high-speed internet connections, many opt to leave their computers on and ready for action. For example, you downloaded, you have, for example, you accessed a pirating website. For example, pirating website, for example, are those websites who pirate movies or illegally or makes you illegally upload or illegally watch movies uh, against the will of the for example the developer or the producers of the movie or the producers. And then for example you download a movie or a video clip from those websites and then leave your computer, uh, then it will be susceptible to cyber attacks. So it is best that if your computer is left unoperated or unattended, mas maaari na lang patchun mo na lang. So that would be the end of our um, discussion. So instruction for this instruction uh, is for everybody. So kindly answer the questions in your module. You have been given your module last week. So disregard the deadline. Again, disregard the deadline. Submit it as soon as you are finished or take time on answering your module, your activities in the module. So the soft copy of the chapter 2 of the module will be provided to you tomorrow or on Monday morning, March 22, 2021. So disregard the date, it is just a typographical error. Again, the date for the deadline is a typographical error. There will be no date for the deadline. So just submit your activity as soon as you are done. So if you have questions, just comment. Just state your questions in the comment section, and then for those who have not attended the uh, synchronous virtual class in our Google Meet, ang aton nga meeting sa Google Meet, you may state or you may state what you have learned in the comment section below. Again, for those who have not attended or for those who failed to attend the Google Meet, ang sa aton nga klase from Monday to Thursday, you are obliged to state what you have learned in the comment section as well as the questions uh, that you want to ask. So again, we are done with our first lecture. Thank you very much.